Hello, my name is Richard Hayes, and over 2 years ago, I was diagnosed with R.S.D. Uh, I have came up with some inventions for myself that really helps me uh, just to get through the days. Um, I wear a lot of different braces, and in the brace for me is the main component by which I operate my manipulations of my hand up to this point. Um Throughout the process of seeing the doctors, the one thing that they have always told me is use it or lose it. Uh, this has gone on for 2 years, and me and my insurance company has had great rifts in between what they feel I should be doing, what the doctors say I should be doing, and what I want to see from my life. Uh, Many months ago, they stopped physical therapy. In the state of Louisiana, it was something like they did 29 visits, and if there wasn't a good enough progress report, then legally they could be done with it. And they did 30, so they did one more than what they were required to do. And when I realized what the doctors was telling me about RSD, I started researching it every day to figure out what I could do for myself along with what the doctors were telling me. Uh, in all, I've seen right at 20 doctors or 21 doctors uh, throughout Louisiana where I live here. And most of them say the same thing. I had this spinal stimulator that did about 45%, and that didn't quite meet the standards of the insurance company. And I must say, if someone is punching you in your face and they stop doing it by 45%, you would appreciate that, other than it just not being done. So if you get 45% relief of the agony that you live with on a daily basis, I don't quite see how that computes. But they're not living my life, and the others that have RSD and in issues in their hands. And it don't necessarily have to be in your hand. Mine happens to be in my hand. And I put on my brace just a few minutes ago because it pertains to why I'm going to be making this post. I have learned to manipulate my hand. I have learned to set it on buggies. I have learned to place it on the steering wheel, which they say that I'm using my hand, but it's more of a manipulation of the hand than actually using it. Uh, for instance, I have made quite a few different attachments for my braces over this 2 year period. I've been in carpentry, mechanic, most of my life, electrician. My craft was carpenter and electrician, and I've worked on farm equipment. It's just part of life growing up in the country. So you learn to be a MacGyver to a certain extent to have a result where you don't go broke trying to get the means of living a suitable life for what your situation in life is. This would be one of the braces. In order to get this one out, originally I had to take a X-Acto knife and kind of cut it right there to get it out. This is a clip, a utility clip, and most times you'll see these hanging in the garage or the utility closet, and you can put a broom right in between the middle of them. Well, they have different sizes depending. In some instances, you can put like a toilet brush, a plunger, uh, just a whole lot of different size and different makes. Some's made out of wire. Uh, as long as it's heat tempered, so it has that spring ability to it, that every what you put in it and then take it out, it just it doesn't just stretch out and then it has no more use. This is the medium size, which would be for like a broom that you would hang up in your utility closet or garage or so forth. And this will fit around a buggy. And I put it on and I used a stainless steel screw, but there is a Teflon washer in between the brace piece itself and the clip. So it allows this piece to actually spin. So if you hook this onto the steering wheel, and it would be right here, it goes back in that little slot where it came out of in your brace. Well, you can put that on the steering wheel. Well, it'd be like this, but this piece right here will turn. And you can make a full revolution with the steering wheel, which it doesn't take no strength to turn a steering wheel if it's power steering anyway. You are quite limited in what you can do. This will actually hold a like a Coke bottle. I'm not sure about a Coke bottle. I don't drink Cokes. I'm a water person. It does not fit most Gatorade bottles, I can tell you that. And I'm not a big Gatorade. I drink water all the time. I'm a water junkie, I guess. But I'm pretty sure I have with one of the other. These do wear out, so you have to replace them. But I have put my wife's drink within these, so I know they will hold a Coke bottle, and they will also hold a broom handle and other things of the same size. Let me put it that way. Now there will be weight limits to it, which if you have R.S.D in your hand, you're going to understand what weight restrictions will apply to you. And once again, you do have good days, and throughout life's little circle you have a whole lot of bad ones. And the idea is to try to deal with them and adjust life in a way where you can get some functionality back, which is the whole thing the doctors have told me, and I have researched for many months on everything I could find about R.S.D. And the primary treatment is of some type of medicine, along with physical therapy, occupational therapy, therapy, and some. And my doctors have said the same thing. Either you use it or you will lose it. And the last doctor that I went and seen, which was Daryl Henderson in Louisiana, and he is a plastic surgeon, but he's a reconstructive surgeon of the hand as well. And he is a leading hand expert in Southwest Louisiana. And he finally came to the conclusion that it might be worthwhile to cut it off. And I told him I didn't think that was going to work for me. Because where I stand right now, when I die, this hand will be connected to my body. So I researched it out, and I don't have the documents printed out, and I don't remember exactly, but it was a leading R.S.D research, and I think part of it came from Germany and Sweden, and some of the documentation even came from the United States in a conference, and they was talking about the amputation of a hand, and 80% failed, but it didn't necessarily have to be the hand itself. It just moved back to the nub, and then it had a greater chance of spreading. And if you've been diagnosed with R.S.D, one of the issues is that anything else that happens to your body has the ability to trigger R.S.D everywhere that other situation in your body happens. So at the same time, I'm very leery of having somebody cut up on my hand. And when I try to explain this to the lawyer that was at one time taking care of my case, he seemed to be more interested in money than me getting fixed. And I don't want to talk about him because he's not here to defend himself, and I'll just talk about me and my issues. It's bad to say that for me it's not about money, but in the end, if I had more of the money that I feel that they probably should have gave to me, that I could have made better implements to make my life more useful, which they didn't agree with. Like ketamine, it wouldn't have been off the table for me to try the ketamine coma. Uh, this is going to be the next brace that I start working on. This is going to be the finger portions, but I'm going to have to cut it down to size so I can actually put it with where the knuckles bend. I got to find some type of medium that will allow a hinging section, because these pieces are way too long. And these pieces came out of a toy that my son had, and I just confiscated them and got him a video game instead. So we made a barter for something that I needed and something he wanted. And on the top side, when I figure out what that hinge is going to be, a friend of mine is going to weld little pieces of tube on the tops, kind of like a cylinder of a pen, the cylinder inside that holds the ink. I'm gonna have little small sections that I can run, and even on my braces, like I have a hook. Don't know if I showed this one or not, but this hook stays within my brace most of the time. I do use it to help to pick up something, because my shoulder can pick up where my hand can't. But it also keeps my braces pulled back towards my body, so all the little implements that I put on it is not being held up by my hand, because it gets painful when things touch it or pull against it, or anybody with it in their hand, and I'm sure the foot as well. You can have a doctor, when he pulls on it and he does his little issues with the hand to try to figure out where you're at for your monthly meeting, it hurts. So you need some support there. I have a piece like this. I have several other pieces. I didn't grab them before I started this. Like I said, this one is good for buggies, steering wheels, depending on what type of knob you have on your door. I have another one of these that on my Ford F-250 pickup will allow me to set my hand in it and actually pull the door. And the hook itself, I have several other hooks that actually fit into it, so when I'm pulling and opening the door, it's really not the hand, but think of it like mirror therapy. You're trying to have your brain see that the hand still has function. And that was part of my research that I generally came up with these ideas. And so I started researching the web, and I researched a whole lot of therapeutic sites, robotic sites, exoskeleton sites, and I just started coming up with ideas that would fit within my budget to make it happen. I'm actually working on one right now. Give me just